Up Buddy Nerdigans, this is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's book Nerdigan discussion video is on Wicked Within by Kelly Keaton. And this is the third book in the Gods and Monsters series by Kelly Keaton, and if you have not read Darkness Becomes Her, or Beautiful Evil, or Wicked Within, and have not watched the book Nerdigan videos that I have done for the previous two, then why are you here? Go read the books. Go watch the videos, and then come back here so we can talk about it, because I love this series, and it should be appreciated. Especially since this is probably, between this one and I would say this one and A Beautiful Evil are my favorite. It's a toss-up, because they're both really, really good. So, for those that have read the books and watched the videos, or just want to hear the spoilers, here we go. Let's get to it. So it starts off with the River Witch, with it's Dub and Henry and Crank and Ari and Violet, and they go off to see the River Witch, and they're still trying to remove Ari's curse, because remember, Ari's still, when Ari turns 21, she will turn into a Gorgon unless she gets this curse removed. And what's interesting about the River Witch is that, well, yeah, it's the River Witch, but I mean, he lives in the swamp, and Violet was raised by the River Witch, so we kind of get an insight into how Violet was brought up. And up until this point, we don't know anything about Violet. Violet is the most bizarre character, because if you remember in A Beautiful Evil, Athena tried to give Violet the Gorgon curse, and it failed, and that was so freaking cool. I don't know if you guys thought so or not. I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty cool that Violet couldn't get cursed by a goddess named Athena. And so the River Witch is really interesting, because he uses divining in the most bizarre way. So he reads his own blood in olive oil that's made from olives from the first olive tree that Athena ever planted in Athens. And it's like, how did he get that? It's like, it kind of makes you suspicious from the very beginning. And I like when authors do that. Like, they leave little hints in the beginning that play an important role at the very end of the story. And that's what happened. Who did that? And Leslie Livingston did that in the Wonder of Strange trilogy, and especially in her prologues. And I love when I love when authors do that. And the divining. Why I say the divining is really bizarre is because we've seen divining, like with in Heroes of Olympus. We saw divining with stuffed animals. We saw divining when the Starling trilogy with fresh meat, animal entrails and fresh meat. So with Be a Gwen. So it's interesting to see it with olive oil and blood. So what the River Witch says is, he says Athena is still alive. Well, duh, she's still alive. We kind of figured this was going to happen, and will bring a greater wrath than the one she brought upon years ago with her hurricanes. And what he says is, in order for him to remove the curse, is to bind the hands of Zeus and bring them to the River Witch. And allegedly, he trained with the goddess Hecate herself. And it makes you wonder, because remember, Athena killed a good chunk of the gods and goddesses in her pantheon. And I know Hecate is a titan, and it makes you wonder if Athena killed Hecate as well. And at what point in time did she kill Hecate? So it makes you think, how long has the River Witch really been alive? And how can the River Witch be even alive? So, yeah. And then the River Witch also says a couple of other things that were interesting, too. He also predicts that Violet will have a role and not to be afraid to get in harm's way, which ends up being a huge prediction, a huge foreshadowing, not only in this book, but in Heart of Stone. And and the next thing he says too is also a huge foreshadowing too. or a huge role, actually, I should say, in this book, and it also kind of plays a little bit of a part in Heart of Stone to an extent. It kind of gives you a background of what's going to happen in Heart of Stone. He mentions that and why Josephine's kind of a bitch. He says vampire kings and queens ruled over their kind across Europe, unknown to humans, until the God Wars happened. And apparently Josephine's grandfather was instrumental in seeing the rise of the Capetian dynasty over the Carolingians in the 10th century. If it weren't for the God Wars, which resulted in vampires retreating further from human affairs, Josephine would be the queen of the French vampires. So it explains why Josephine is so bitter towards Athena and why she wants to get back at Athena so bad. And we find out why Sebastian wasn't there with Ari and the rest of them. His addiction to blood is real, man. He is relying on Josephine for blood, and he refuses. Even though he relies on and I like that, even though he's relying on Josephine for blood, he refuses to abandon the rest of his friends and family. And I admire him for that, but the thing that's and I know that he doesn't want to ask for help from everyone else. Sebastian frustrates me, and I said this from the beginning. Sebastian frustrates the hell out of me. I just wish he would have asked, if he would have said something to Mikkel. Mikkel probably would have helped him with this problem from the very beginning. It just is very annoying, and I don't like it. Sebastian's character frustrates me. His character has always frustrated me, and I love what Dove does. So when they head back into the house and Athena's creatures come and attack them because they're cooking dinner, Dove sets Athena's creatures on fire with the baguette of terror, and then Violet. I love how they call it the baguette of terror. It's just fucking hilarious. And then Violet stabs and bites it, and then Sebastian kills another minion, and Ari stabs one in the heart. That was so freaking badass. And then we have Minai and Melano. You remember, Minai is the daughter of Artemis, and Melano is the daughter of Hades. And I love what Violet says to Melano. The first thing she says to Melano is she's like, you wear two different colors. And I was like, well, she's half black and half white. That is Melano. She literally is. And I just thought it was funny that Violet said that to Mel, and I was like, oh my god, Violet, you were just awesome. I can't believe she said it. And damn, Mel is freaking creepy as shit. Because she has one hand that can send a soul, like her light side, can send a soul to the afterlife. And her dark side, with her dark hand, the other half of her, can destroy a soul. And it's like, damn, why can't other children of Hades do this? This is insane. So, Minai and Melano come with a proposal from Athena, and if, basically, if Ari resurrects her child, that Athena will remove her curse with a blood-bound vow that Athena will not harm Ari or the rest of her family. And then before they leave, Minai kissed Henry. I was like, oh, Minai and Henry. Oh, they're so cute together. And I love what Henry said after that. He says, Henry said, if I would have known getting shot in the belly was all it took to get her attention, I'd done it sooner. I started laughing so hard. Oh my god, that had to be one of the funniest things ever. I love that line. So now you know, guys, if you want to get a hot archer, daughter of an goddess of the hunt, attention, get shot in the belly. Oh, and then burning the corpses. So Dove is burning the corpses in the backyard of all Athena's creatures. And Dub's flame power is getting out of control, and I love what Henry says. Henry is such a smart ass. He says, it's called puberty, dumbass. Everything grows. Powers, hair, body odor, you're shot. I laughed so hard. I love him. I love Henry. Why can't Sebastian be as funny as Henry? I swear. I swear to Kami Narcius. I love it. Yep, Ari and Bran make a good. Oh, this is so funny. So Ari and Bran were. I think this was before the council meeting or something like that. Or no, this was during training. And Ari and Bran were joking. And I think it was Ari that said, Ari was like, yeah. They would make a good circus act, Stone Girl and Meathead, and I was just like, oh my god, Ari, that is just amazing. Ari and Bran Ari and Bran would make a good circus act, Stone Girl and Meathead. I could just see it now. And then of course, Athena sends Zarya. This was before the council meeting. That's what it was. It was during their training session. And then, of course, Athena sends, this is during the council meeting, Athena sends Zarya to the council meeting, knowing Sebastian is there. Athena is so freaking sadistic, and she's very calculating. She knows what she's doing. She's the goddess of wisdom for a reason. And, oh yeah, and that's right, Ari, before I move on, go back to the Athena and Zarya thing, it was the Ari and Bran were training right before Ari was going to go have dinner with her dad. That's what it was. Okay. Now I feel better now that I have got that. So, now back to Zari and the council meeting, knowing Sebastian's there. Alright, so Athena offers Donum Essentia Dia. And what that is basically her goddess essence / immortality and all her accumulated power to make one of them a god. To the one who returns the hands of Zeus. So Athena would become a mortal being for her kid. And I was just like, damn, Athena, you're going to cause war for this. So, it was just insane. So anyway, let's get to the father-daughter time, because this was really insane. This was really sweet, a sweet moment, because we get some more insight into what the relationship was with like her father and her mother, whose name is Eleni. So we learned that actually Ari's father was there when she was born, and Eleni actually wanted to settle down in New Orleans and make a life with them, and they believed, and Eleni believed that the Novem could protect them. And of course that didn't happen. Because Josephine betrayed them. And Ari's dad sent Eleni and Ari away once he figured out what happened. And he has yet to meet the bitch known as Josephine. But it's just sad. It's just that part. I would love to have. Kelly, if you can write a prequel to this story, or to this series, about how Eleni and Ari's dad met, that would be really awesome. I would love to read that, because their stories are really sweet. From the brief tidbits that I've gotten, that you've given us in this book and Heart of Stone, I really want a prequel. Please give us a prequel. It's so sad. I want it. And the life lesson from Eleni. I love this. This is such a good life lesson from Eleni. It's the actions that matter, not the blood that runs through one's veins or the curse. And I was like, oh, man, I wish that we would get to meet Eleni, and this is why we need a prequel. Please, Kelly, please give us a prequel. We need it. Oh, I love Ari's dad. He's become like my favorite character, one of my favorite characters in this book, or in the series, because he says this too. He says to him that he can run, to not be afraid to go to him when you need him, and he makes and she says, and Ari is saying that that he makes her feel wanted and loved, and that he's always there. He's always there for her, and and um, and makes and you know he makes her feel confident, and vice versa. And that's what and that's what he wants. He wants. Oh no, I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. This is what he wants to be for her. Um, let me say this again. So what Ari's dad says is this is what he wants to be for her. He wants to be someone that you can run to when you need him, makes you feel wanted and loved, and will always be there for you, and makes you feel confident, and will not lose it. And he says he will not lose another member of his family to Athena's curse, and can count on him for a full-on soul. And I was like thinking, that has got to be the best dad ever. And I know that a lot of Tommy Sotomayor's, some of Tommy Sotomayor's audience subscribes to me and watches my videos, and I hope they are reading these books, because just look at that example of how a father is, how big of a role a father is in this series in particular, and how it's affecting the main character, Ari, in this case Ari's character. She is becoming a different person because of him. And she feels more secure. She actually feels more secure with herself because of that. And she feels because that's what she wanted when if you remember, in Darkness Becomes Her, that's what she was actually looking for. She was looking when she was trying to find her birth parents. That's what she wanted, in the sense. So I'm glad that when he said that, that just made me, not the last part, will not lose another member of his family to Athena's curse, but I mean the makes you feel wanted and loved. That's what is extremely important. But anyway, now we get to Sebastian being an asshole. I'm just getting so annoyed because Ari has given him so many opportunities to tell him, for him to tell her that he needs her to, feed. He let him feed off you. It's just freaking ridiculous. Ari says you can feed her on her, just freaking do it. This is what I put in my notes. I said, Kami, this is like losing your virginity to each other, and Sebastian needs to have sex to learn how to do it right. That's what this bullshit is, Sebastian. And I was thinking, thank Kami, Ari is calling her ass out on it. Seriously, this is just stupid, Sebastian. And then Bran summons Sebastian and Ari at this moment to the Garden District via Crank, of course, awkward. And yes, Ari beat the living hell out of Gabriel just to do it. It was nice. And then we meet Zoe, who's muttering in tongues, and she comes from a Egyptian pantheon line of demigods. And the god that speaks through Zoe are asking Ari to wake them up in exchange for the removal of her curse. And this can only happen through a god descendant, which according to Bran is an Egyptian god. And what Bran describes as sleep is retiring from the mortal world and godly planes, which is done by very old gods who are done with life and cannot be reversed themselves. And they can only be revived from sleep if they are awoken. It requires a lot of energy, that's for sure. And Ari breaks up with Sebastian after she finds out it was Zarya who was Athena's messenger. And I don't blame her. Go Ari. Thank you, Ari. Thanks for doing that. And Zoe also has another message for Sebastian, too. And I thought this, and then it just goes on to the next part. And then I like that Crank this was so sweet. So Crank wants a makeover from Violet and Ari for her 13th birthday because she has a crush on Dub. Because remember, Crank is a tomboy, and I thought it was so sweet. That was such a sweet moment. And I thought this was interesting. This is I don't remember who. Then we go back to I think that we find this out from Sebastian. and this is in Sebastian's point of view, we find this out, that, I don't remember who said it, but none of the Greek gods can get Pandora's jar, to get the hands, because they are not on good terms. And, oh no, it wasn't Sebastian, it was Ari. It was Melano, told Ari about that, that's right. And then Ari was spying on, Sebastian. Or no, it wasn't Sebastian's point of view, I'm sorry. And then, Ari was spying on, Josephine's mansion, and she got busted. Or Sebastian just totally got busted, but, drinking blood. So, Sebastian got busted. Bwahaha. And then I put hashtag Melana the spy. Also the superpower of giving people heart attacks. Oh my god, that was so crazy. Because, yeah, Melano can shadow travel. Yes, it's just a common theme with children of Hades. They can shadow travel. I just liked how, I loved how Ari said that she had the power of giving heart attacks. That was so funny. And she said that she spied on Sebastian scoping out the library. And according to Mel, Dora, or Pandora, was Athena's first creation at the time of mankind's infancy with an unbreakable bond. She was made with the help of Zeus and given life with the blood of Athena, and Dora was as powerful as Athena. And Mel also said the blood wars have yet to come and could happen if Athena's child lives. Oh shit! And then we find out Josephina's head. Mia, she got the head, and I was like thinking, the bitch is dead. Yes, the bitch is dead. And then before the war, before the War of the Pantheons, Josephine's grandfather was captured / killed by Athena, so that's why that's why there's grudge. I thought it was another reason to. The original reason was from the from what the River Witch said, but no, it was also that too. And we also find out, because you know everyone was going after the hands, we find out that Keeper is dead. And Ari mentioned earlier in the book that Keeper was trying to find the hands, that Keeper was struggling to find the hands while doing the inventory and didn't know where it was. So they all thought that it was because Josephine hidden the hands. Oh boy, that was great. And Josephine's mansion site became the site of the November Rumble. Oh my god, that scene was so badass. And I loved when Ari turned Gabriel into stone. Oh my god, he deserved it. And then she broke him, and then fucking Simon went, his dad went insane. And Simon and Mauville, take out their revenge and try to kill the kids. But Dove, I love it, but Dove gets the last laugh and just like burns the shit out of them, except for Crank is hurt. And that really fucking sucks. It's like, damn it, you bastards, why? And it's official, the Novem are at war. And you think, is this the blood wars that they speak of? And no, it's not. This isn't the Blood Wars. I thought this was at first, but it's not the Blood Wars. And the River Witch returns to assist. And we find out that Athena, and luckily the River Witch did, because the house was not freaking on fire, because Dove still can't control his powers. And Athena is using the good old, according to the River Witch, Athena is using the good old divide and conquer strategy, and phase 1 is apparently working. Yeah, divide is pretty much working. And Bran, with the help from Rowan, has hidden the jar. Good thinking, Bran. And I love what Ari's father said, because they were asking Ari's dad if he was going to help fight with them, and he said that his father's sword, and he said that his sword, basically loyalty is with Ari, and I was like, oh, I love that. I thought that was sweet. And then yay, and we find out that Crank is okay. Crank is not going to die. Oh, thank Kami and Arceus, Crank isn't going to die. And Zoe takes Sebastian to Sekhet, part of the Egyptian otherworld. The god, and from what Sebastian described, the god had wings like a falcon, body of man. Oh, if you guys have read the King Chronicles, you guys know that the god has to be Horus. And to make his vow when it's broken, and to make his vow when it's broken, his spirit will be pulled by the eye from his body. It was really cool. So what he did was Horace basically put Sebastian's blood in like these bowls, and then drew the eye, like the eye of Horus, on his lips to speak the oath or whatever, and Horus did the same. It was really cool. And Sebastian had to speak through the eye to say Horus's true name to wake up, and he wants to find his kid. And I thought that Horus was the father of Athena's kid. He's not the father of his kid, don't worry. And then Athena captured Ari's father again. It's like, no! God, damn it, leave him alone! And damn, Bran's kid, Kieran. There's another Kieran that will be a badass. Or, no, the other Kieran is the other Kieran's a badass and a pain in the ass, but that is later. That's in the fairy readathon. We'll get to that. But Bran's kid, daughter, Kieran, is a total badass. And stubborn like her father. And, I thought this was interesting. I don't remember who said it. I think it was Bran. It was either Bran or the River Witch said this. It was the River Witch. He says, you're not be a true god killer unless you can do it with your eyes. Because remember, Medusa, the legends say Medusa is a god killer with her eyes. So the hands, finally Sebastian figures out where the hands are. That the hands are in the cathedral where Athena and Apollo and Artemis are at. And it's in front of the floor crypt of Andres Alexandria Roxas, which is marked by a flat stone in the floor of the church, which is exactly where Horus is heading. Because apparently that's where Josephine went to church and dragged Sebastian to church every day and made sure they sat at that frickin' pew every Sunday. And I guess religion pays off. And we find out at the church the River Witch is Anzadora or Pandora. Yeah, the River Witch is Pandora, and somehow she made herself sound like a man. I was like, damn, Pandora, shit. So here we go. The rest of the prophecy, according to Pandora. The child will be sought by those who want to ignite the blood wars. He will lead an army against the gods. He is of goddess and vampire. Josephine's goddess and vampire, so it's Josephine's grandfather. In the 10th century, it's the right time. Yep, the grandfather is the father. And able to consume the blood of the gods to draw their essence into his body. And remember, because he is half-blood, he's a half-breed. If he drinks the blood of a god, then he will be addicted to blood, like Sebastian is. But if he doesn't, then he's good. And Zeus was the first fated to fall. And apparently there is a grudge between Apollo and Horus. And holy commie and Arceus, we find out Horus is Menai's father. And damn. I thought Artemis was a virgin. Well, obviously Artemis isn't a virgin goddess, but damn, Artemis and Horus? Shit! But yeah, and I think it's badass that Horus's cat can turn into a lion. That's fucking awesome. And then Ari turned, what was really sad and ironic was when Ari turned Athena turned Athena into stone as Ari was reviving the baby the baby's named Archer. And I was just like, oh, that's just so sad. And where are we? Just as Archer was coming back to life, and Dora has the Aegis, and she was trained by Hecate and Athena. Well, we still don't know if Hecate is dead or not. And Violet is the Aegis turned into a Titan. Oh my god, that was so insane. So yeah, Violet is the Aegis turned into a Titan. It's so crazy awesome. And after Dora shattered Athena's statue, so Athena's gone, she can't come back. Athena's completely dead. And Horus luckily transformed from the Falcon to a god. To God save the baby. Thank Kami. So now Ari can focus on fighting Pandora and killing Pandora. And Pandora's dead. And hopefully not Violet, please. And Violet is still alive. Thank Kami, because Violet is the shield. She's a separate thing from Pandora. And Artemis explains that Athena's son is named in her and Apollo's honor. That's why he's named Archer. And she removed Ari's curse but left its power because the gods need checks and balances. And I love that Artemis said that. It was such a... I love that Ari did not get gypped like that. That would have sucked if she got gypped. And Horus said he would fulfill Sebastian's agreement, then take care of business with Artemis. And Artemis, the Night, and Horus will be a fam, and the Night wants Henry to visit. I love that the Nye and Henry are a couple. They're so cute. And basically it's going to be 6 months in Olympus, 6 months in Egypt, and Archer's going to be it's going to be 6 months in Olympus and 6 months on Earth with Sebastian, because remember, Sebastian is his, Sebastian is his family after all. And it's time to rebuild, and Sebastian and Ari's father are totally part of the council. And what their goal is going to make it so there's availability for everyone, including, the school, and not just for Novem. And now they're living in the new Victorian and because their house burnt down, they now are living in a new Victorian mansion on Coliseum Street. And I just like that. I love what Violet says. Violet is an amazing character. She just says, she's like, she is such that she will always protect Ari, and she wants to now Violet wants to find her family now that Ari found her family, and I just thought that was really awesome. And Crane comes home and she's healed. And Sebastian didn't change back, which I was like, huh? Sebastian? But Sebastian just wanted to make sure that he can protect her. Which was like, okay, whatever. You could have protected her, which is magic, but okay. And Ari finally, I love what Ari says. He says, Sebastian, why didn't you just only drink from Ari in the first place? I told you she would let you. And the other thing is, and it will be mentioned in the, I'll mention it in Heart of Stone, because it gets brought up again, is because the River Witch actually went with them, I think the River Witch either found them or went with them to see Crank, and Crank actually saw through the River Witch's disguises, and that's how they kind of figured out that the River Witch was really, that was like the first sign to figure, or one of the other signs to figure out that the River Witch was Pandora. But anyway, wow, we're at the 33-minute mark. But anyway, this book was an amazing book, and there wasn't much to hate about it at all. And the next one is going to be Heart of Stone, and oh man, Heart of Stone. Alright. Until next time, Book Nerdikins, I want to know what you guys thought about this book. I want to know what you guys thought about the relationship, especially with Ari and her father, because I asked you in A Beautiful Evil what you thought about the father-son relationship with Sebastian and Mikkel. I want to ask you what you thought about the father-daughter relationship with Ari and her father, and how it has changed her as a character. And if it's changed her for the better or not, if you see a change or not. So please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in Heart of Stone. Until next time, Book Nerdigans. Bye.